Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Miss DRF, also known as Danny, and I am currently a trainee teacher in the UK. I'm approaching the end of my teacher training now, and I would like to share some of the items that I've used throughout my training year and I found invaluable. So I wanted to share that with you. So the first thing that I want to share with you is stationery. So I have got these pens, the Bic multi-pens. I don't know whether you can see those, the Bic multi-pens. They're an absolute lifesaver on the basis that they change colours. So you've got red, blue, green, black. You've just got all the colours that you need in a school, and they're brilliant for marking. I found that particularly in my first placement school, we could mark in any colour. There was no preference on colour, so I used to mark in red, but sometimes if I wanted to put a spelling correction or something like that, I could easily flick into green, and it wasn't a case of having to get another pen. So that's been really useful. Whiteboard pens. I like the Beryl ones. I like the way that they work. These are quite useful because they've got two pens in one, which is fantastic when you're wanting to swap colours really easily. I had these from Home Bargains, but I know you can get them on Amazon just the same as well. So just look out for those towards like August time, because Home Bargains do usually have them. I also have my highlighters. Now I have more than two highlighters, but for the purpose of this video, I just chose these two. These are the Stabilo Boss ones. Yeah, these highlighters, they are really, really good. You don't have to, whoops. You obviously don't have to have the pastel coloured ones. You can have the colours that suit your preference, but they are really good when you're making notes, especially at uni, like when you're in lectures and you need to quickly highlight something. These are really, really good. My next thing I'm going to move on to is a folder. So this is, just cover my name, this is my lever arch folder here. Now, with the folders, I will say only buy yourself one folder to start with, because I made the mistake of buying 3 folders and I really didn't need 3 lever arch folders. And the reason why I bought 3 lever arch folders was because people had said to me before, you're going to need a folder for each placement, which technically I did need a folder for each placement, but it wasn't for my evidence. My university have gone down an online route where we do a journal, which is online. So we weren't collecting evidence for each standard in that way. We were just putting it in our journal. So I didn't need the folder for my evidence, but I did need the folder for my planning and classroom information. And the reason why we had that was because if you were kind of falling behind or struggling or anything like that, and the school was saying that you weren't doing XYZ, you had the proof in your folder. So you will need a lever arch folder, but just buy one. You don't need to get loads. I had mine from WH Smith. I also had my second placement folder from Wilco, and they've worked absolutely fine. I will say for the WH Smith ones though, which was my first placement folder, the whole thing fell apart in the last week because there was just so much planning and resources and classroom information in there. So just be careful with the ones that you buy, because you do really want a really strong, robust folder. My next thing is you will need a notepad. So this is my notepad. I've used this at uni, I've used this in school, and it's been brilliant. I just use it to take notes. You will be taking loads of notes throughout this training year of yours, so you will definitely need a notepad. It doesn't need to be as fancy as this one. Somebody bought me this actually as a leaving gift from my job when I was going to do my teacher training, but it doesn't, you can just get one from Home Bargains. It's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter what it looks like. My next thing is a memory stick. Now I did buy a memory stick, but you don't necessarily need one, because some schools are really funny about memory sticks because of data protection and GDPR. and some schools will give you a memory stick. My home school on my Schools Direct actually gave me an encrypted memory stick that I could use, but I didn't use anyway. My university preferred us to put everything on OneDrive. That way you can access it on any computer wherever you are, based off your email. So that's another alternative for you to save your things and have it all in one place. My next item that you need to get is a diary and a things to do pad. So academic diary and a things to do today. These have been absolute lifesavers for me. So I'll start off with the diary. A diary is just brilliant for writing down your dates, your observation dates, teacher training days, any workshops that you need to do. Throughout my PGCE course, we had phonics workshop days, we had subject leadership workshop days. So there were different things that I needed to write down, as well as my observations within school. As throughout your training, you will be observed a lot. So you need to know when you're going to be observed. So it's good to have a diary to do that. My things to do pad, again, another lifesaver, purely because you can't remember everything. You can't remember all the things that you've got to do, especially in a class. So you definitely need to be writing them all down and ticking them all off. There is nothing more satisfying than ticking off your to-do list and at the end of the day feeling absolutely amazing. So that's another thing that you need to get yourself. It's a helper. The next thing that I would suggest that you get is a strong bag. Now, I didn't have this particular bag throughout my training year, but I wish I did. I got this from Sainsbury's quite recently when I was doing my essential food shop. It's £22, but it's a really strong bag. It holds my laptop, my notepad, everything else that I need for the school day. It holds, and I really wish I'd have had this at the beginning of my training year, because it would have made my life so much easier. At the beginning of my training year, I had a handbag, but it couldn't fit everything that I needed. So I was having to carry like a bag for life with all the other things as well, which is not a fashion statement that you want to be making. So yeah, definitely get yourself a strong bag that's big enough to hold your laptop, your book, your phone, your glasses if you need them. All of your essentials that you need in your bag to be a teacher. Make sure you get one that holds up, because you don't want to be walking around with an excessive amount of bags. So get one of those. Which brings me on to my next thing. You will most definitely need a laptop. So mine is a MacBook, which I don't actually use in school, purely because my homeschool gave me a laptop, which is a Windows laptop. And then my second school, I used my class teacher and mentor's laptop in the end, because it was just easier. The problem is with a MacBook is that a lot of schools don't use Mac. They use a Windows laptop. So the things aren't necessarily compatible. However, I did use this at uni. I did use this for my assignments. I did use this for the PowerPoint lectures at university. So it was useful for that. If you are in a school that provides with a laptop, that is fantastic, and take that opportunity, because my life was so much easier because my homeschool had provided me with a laptop that I can do all my work and all my planning on. If you are not in a school that are not willing to provide you with a laptop, which they actually don't have to provide you with a laptop, then get yourself a laptop that you know you can use. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest a MacBook, just because a lot of schools don't use MacBook as their use Apple as their ICT. But get yourself a laptop either way. It will be useful at uni, and you will need it for your teacher training. My next item seems a little bit ridiculous and seems quite obvious, but you will need a comfy pair of shoes. 100% you will need a comfy pair of shoes. I was always the person that was like, I am never going to Clarks to buy a pair of shoes. That's so primary school. That's what my mum used to buy. But I found myself in August in Clarks getting myself a pair of school shoes because I needed comfort overall. And I can honestly say to you that my Clarks shoes that I got in August have been tremendous. They are amazing. They are so comfortable. It literally feels like I'm walking on clouds. and they're reasonably priced as well, especially for how long you can have them. Like my shoes now, I could go into next year with them. I probably won't, just because I'm extra like that and feel like I need to have more, but I will definitely be buying my school shoes from Clarks again. Which also brings me on to my next thing about having comfortable clothes to wear. Don't get me wrong, I love fashion as much as the next girl, but you also need to have clothes that are comfortable and practical for the job that you're about to do. A lot of schools will ask you to have your shoulders covered, nothing too low revealing, and to make sure it looks professional. Some schools say that they don't like leggings and things like that. So you just need to adhere to your school's code of practice. But good places to buy clothes from: Primark's really good because it's cheap, it's affordable, and you don't mind if it gets ruined. H&M is another place where I got some lovely pairs of trousers from for work. New Look is also really good for trousers as well. So definitely get yourself a comfortable pair of shoes. And my last thing that I think you will need, now this one is a bit of it's a bit of a taboo one, because I've watched videos on here before where they've said you definitely don't need one, but I found it invaluable this year, and that is a laminator and laminating pouches. So I've used my laminator an insane amount, and I know that it's not necessarily good for the environment and all of those sorts of things, but when you want to reuse resources, a laminator is your best friend along with the laminating pouches. So I found it really useful to have those items throughout my training gear. I think I had my laminator from Argos actually, but I know that they do a variety of laminators on Amazon as well. So that is totally your choice whether you have those things. So that is the end of my top 10 items that you will need for your training gear. Disclaimer, you don't have to buy these things. It's totally up to you whether you want to buy them or not. I have just personally found them very helpful throughout my training gear, and I'm approaching the end of it now, and I can reflect back and say that these were the things that I definitely use. It's not going to have a huge impact on your ability to teach or the classification of teacher that you are, but it definitely helped me to have these items throughout my training gear. I hope you have enjoyed the video. This is my first video, so please give it a thumbs up. Go and subscribe to the channel. I'm really trying to build this channel, and I want it to be a useful, informative channel for trainee teachers, NQTs, and teachers that have been teaching for years. I want it to be a useful tool for you guys. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.